Okay, hello and welcome to the 54th episode of the Honesty Pod with me, Beth Quatenton. Here you'll find nothing but honesty, whether you like it or not, and things that you need to hear. So today, in today's episode, we're going to do like a little bit of an older sister advice, and maybe we'll do this once a month, once every couple of months, don't know, but I feel like it's something that a lot of people kind of need, because if you're like me and you didn't really have an older sister to kind of ask, you know, the in-depth questions, or just kind of, you know, questions you don't really want to ask anyone else, then this is the place to ask your question and get a response of some kind, okay? So I've got quite a few questions on here, and I also popped up a question box on my Instagram to see if anyone had any others, and I'm just quickly seeing what we've got here. Okay, cool, fabulous. So here we go. So for those of you that maybe don't have a vagina, you might not want to listen to this as much, but hey, if you don't have one and you still want to listen, continue, support me anyway, and also, whilst we're on that topic, if you're watching this on YouTube, please drop me a little subscribe so you can, you know, follow the podcast and see when I upload new episodes. Give it a like, comment below if you can, anything like that. It just really helps me grow, reach new people, reach more people, and hopefully benefit more people. If you're listening on Spotify, please follow the podcast on there so you can get, again, updates on when new episodes come out. And also give me a little review if you can. Again, every little helps. And if you want to follow me on any of my social medias, my personal one is at BethQFitness, and then we've also got one for the Honesty Pod called at the Honesty Pod. Quite literally, very simple. We like to keep things simple and basic here, so we try not to get too confused, you know. Anyway, let's continue. So yeah, I've got about kind of 10 or so questions that I'm going to go through, and yeah, we'll see if you like this episode and whether or not we keep this little segment in or not. So let's get going. So the first question that I have on my list is the best hair removal method. So I'm assuming this is for down below, and this is something that I've played around with quite a lot. So I have obviously shaved, I have waxed, I have, oh no, actually that might be the only two. Yeah, I've just shaved and waxed down there. I haven't done any, what's it called, laser hair removal. I have on my armpits, but I have not done any down there. However, that is the, you know, when I got a little bit of extra dollar, that will probably be going towards that because it's very annoying. However, firstly, I want to put out there, you do not have to shave. You do not have to shave. If you like it, makes you feel comfortable, makes you feel sexy, makes you feel fantastic, just allow it to do what it wants to do, you know. Or if you're someone that maybe likes to have pubic hair, but you just want to tidy it up a little bit, you can get like one of those like electric razors that are really good for kind of being able to shape down there to whatever you want, and yeah, it just makes it a little bit easier rather than shaving if you're not taking it all off. So yeah, just a reminder that you do not have to shave. First of all, it is not a rule. Of course, some people prefer to be shaved, some people don't. It's whatever you prefer, okay? Whatever makes you feel comfortable. I used to give too much of a shit about what the people that would see my pubic area, I would sometimes give too much of a shit. And now I do not give a flying fuck, to be quite honest, because they should be grateful that they're in my company in the first place. And if they don't like the fact that I either do or don't shave, that's their problem, not mine. I'm feeling comfortable, I'm feeling like a queen, you know. But I prefer myself to be shaven. I cannot lie. It's just how I feel most comfortable. But again, if you feel comfortable with, you know, with the natural hair growing down there, keep it, okay? Please do not ever feel like you have to do something that you don't feel entirely comfortable with, okay? But yeah, so I've tried waxing, and I've obviously tried shaving as well. And at the moment, I am currently just shaving, and I found, I've experimented with different shaving methods, and I've found a good one to kind of ensure that razor bumps are like kept to a minimum and little cuts and stuff, because I definitely was someone that used to like overshave almost. Like, I don't know, if I was seeing someone and then we had like a couple of days between you know, seeing each other, I would feel like I had to, you know, shave down there, even though it's just like a little bit of stubbly kind of hair that's growing through and you don't realistically need to. And it just made it worse down there because it meant that it was getting more irritated, the skin was breaking a lot more, etc, etc. So I only actually shave when it's at like a shaveable hair length, if that makes sense. Like, if you're shaving and it still hurts from the last time you shaved, probably means you're shaving a little bit too close together, and it might be a good idea just to kind of separate that a little bit. But also, something that I saw on TikTok but have not yet tried is shaving, but then covering, you know, where you get your kind of razor bumps on like the pelvis region, in Germaline, you know, like the kind of like the liquid plaster, putting that on it, and apparently you get absolutely no razor bumps at all. But the method that I use when shaving to ensure that the razor bumps are kept to a minimum, / cuts, all of that kind of stuff, is, so on the pelvic area, I will shave down. Okay, so on like the flat pelvic area, I will always shave down. And it takes a few more attempts at getting all of the hair off, naturally, because you're not going against the hair, you're going with the hair. So it does take a little bit longer, depending on, you know, how much you let yourself grow down there. But it means that you're not aggravating the skin and pulling it in a different direction. The underneath the bit, I will do in whatever direction I need to, but predominantly, obviously, the pelvic region is where you mostly get your razor bumps and any kind of like irritation and stuff. Always shave down, shave with the hair, okay? Shave with the hair. I cannot tell you how much that little tip saved me from feeling so uncomfortable. So please people, just do that. Do not go against the hair, especially if it hurts and it's causing you little cuts and razor bumps and stuff. It's not worth the pain. It's not worth it. Just shave downwards, okay? With waxing, let's talk you through my first waxing experience, because I still remember it quite well. So this was when I was living in Brighton. This is probably maybe 4 years ago, I reckon. Maybe four or 5 years ago. And I was like, right, okay, cool, I'm gonna go and get waxed. Because I'm thinking, you know, I think I had like a holiday in like a couple of days, and I was like, I want to be waxed so that I don't have to worry about shaving on holiday, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I booked my appointment just before I go into the job that I was working at the time, which is working at 64 Degrees in Brighton. It's like a little small plate fancy restaurant. So I thought, cool, I'll get it done and then I'll go to work, it'll be fine. So I'm dressed in my work uniform, which is just basically black clothes, just normal like waitressing attire, kind of looking a little bit smart, but like doesn't really matter too much. So I kind of actually have like a big top on like this actually, or it might have been like a long dress where it was just a bit baggy. And I remember I walked there, I was sitting there waiting for the person to make the room ready, and I was thinking, oh my god, I'm literally gonna have to show my entire vagina and probably my entire asshole to a lady I've just met. And I was thinking, right, Beth, you've done this to men that you've met, that you've only just met. So I mean, what's the difference with a lady, you know? And she's actually, you know, doing stuff down there that is saving me time and effort to get ready, etc. So I walk in, she tells me what to do, and I'm like, cool, fabulous, keep my dress on, take my underwear off, clean myself up a little bit, we're all good to go. And she's starting, and holy mother of God, my pain threshold is actually usually pretty good. However, on this specific day, I don't know whether it's because, was I on my period? I might have been, or I might have been in like one of the phases where you just kind of feel pain a lot more. But I was like nervously sweating throughout the entirety of it. And when I got outside, and you know when you kind of, you've been sweating, you go outside, the air hits you, and you can then feel every single place that you've been sweating. This happened to me, and I kind of lifted this up, and the entirety of my underarm was just moist. It was just moist, and I had to go straight into work like that, but I don't really think anyone noticed because luckily I was in black. However, I nervously sweated, and yeah, pulling my bum cheeks apart for someone to put some hot wax between them to take off the little bits of hair that accumulate around your little you know, what's it called, your little peach. It was an interesting time. However, I feel like with waxing and stuff, I think because I did it probably for a good year or so, just because I found it easier and I kind of didn't want to have to deal with it. So I did do it for quite a while, and I did enjoy it, but I just didn't enjoy having to grow it out. You know, I was in like a long-time relationship at the time, so it wasn't too much of an issue, but yeah, I didn't really enjoy having to grow it out, so it was quite annoying. So I would, if I was to go for any hair removal method or even suggest one to someone, I would always go with either shaving or laser hair removal. I would just avoid waxing completely. Unless it works for you, then continue. But yeah, for me, it was just a bit annoying having to grow it out. Painful. Laser hair removal, not really that painful at all. And you don't have to let it grow out between, you know, your sessions. You just have to shave it before you go in and you're all good. So you're still kind of, if you're someone that doesn't like that much hair, it's maybe a better option for you. But anyway, so yeah, I would personally say the best hair removal method is shaving, because obviously it's affordable, everyone can kind of do it. But yeah, just make sure you've got the right technique. So on your pelvic bone, please shave down, do not shave up, because that is where the issues occur. And potentially use Germaline to see if that helps if you get really bad razor bumps. But yeah, I would go for shaving, or if you've got all of the dollar in the world, I'd go for some laser hair removal, honey, because that just saves lives. No, it doesn't, but you know, it's good. Anyway, now the second question, as soon as I've taken quite a lot of time to answer that question, do you shave the butt? And my answer to this is no. I've only ever had my bum hairs removed if I have had a wax, okay? Other than that, no. I'm not particularly hairy down there, and it's literally just a couple, so I kind of feel like it's kind of useless. And like when you're getting the regrowth, if you have shaved down there or had the hair removed, it can be a little bit spiky and a bit uncomfortable. So I just leave it. And no one has said anything. Like, none of my sexual partners over the years have really said anything. No, literally no one said anything. If anything, they've said it looks fantastic, and I'm like, thank you very much for that wonderful compliment. So yeah, please don't worry too much about shaving the butt. I feel like that's quite a dangerous move unless you've got a helper with you. So yeah, I do not shave the butts. Would not recommend shaving the butt, but if you like to shave the butt and it makes you feel good, you shave the butt. Anyway, next up, so this is something I've been wanting to talk about for quite a while. Do you use a menstrual cup? Yes, I goddamn do. I have not used a tampon, a pad, anything of that sort consistently since I was at uni. So I reckon maybe that was it the last year of uni I got it, or maybe the second? I can't really remember. But it was quite a while ago, let's just say that. So I've probably been using the menstrual cup for maybe for like 5-6 years now. Honestly, would never look back. Not only are you saving a shit ton of waste going to landfill, because it's just a reusable thing. You know, it is sanitary as long as you wash it properly, you know, wash it with boiling hot water. I also wash it with the intimate wash, the female intimate wash as well, just to make sure it's like neutralized and will like agree with the pH balance of my flour, because that's a thing as well. But yeah, menstrual cups are honestly so good. Obviously you do have to get quite up close and personal with putting it in, pulling it out. You know, you obviously you quite literally have like without sounding morbid, a cup full of blood. You have to, you know, obviously dump that into the toilet, wash it, insert it. But it honestly is so easy, and when you get it right with the inserting it, because that can be a little bit difficult, you don't feel it. When I'm heavy, I'll empty it 3 times per day. When I'm a bit lighter, I'll empty it in the morning and in the evening. But yeah, periods are so much easier now, and I don't feel like constantly, I've never bled through with a cup, never ever in my 5-6 years of using it, never bled through, because I know that's something that quite a lot of people worry about, and I just trust it with my life, if I'm honest guys. I trust it with my life, so would really recommend you trying the menstrual cup, because yeah, it is just fantastic. I can't lie. Right, next question. What do you wash your flour with? So, as I just said, this is also something I did not know until I think I started watching YouTube, and there was like kind of like what I'm doing now, like an older sister chat, and they were answering questions. I can't remember who it was, and they said about, you know, make sure you're not washing your hoo-ha with body wash or stuff with lots of fragrances in. Make sure you're actually using wash designed to cater towards your hoo-ha, you know. I didn't know this is a thing. Mum never really mentioned it to me. It was very strange. Anyway, I started washing with intimate wash for your vajayjay, and I have not looked back. It just makes sure that the pH balance of your hoo-ha is where it needs to be. It means it is less likely to kind of get infections or anything like that. And yeah, I love it, and honestly get really freaked out if I ever have to use any kind of body wash on my hoo-ha because I haven't got my intimate wash for whatever reason. It does make me anxious now, I cannot lie. But yeah, for your vaginal health, I would always recommend going for, yeah, like a neutral hoo-ha designed wash rather than anything else. Okay, definitely do not use anything fragranced on the hoo-ha down below, because we just don't need it. Okay, it's gonna upset the pH balance and other things, and we don't need that aggro. We don't need that aggro. There we go. So yes, that is what I wash it with. So I usually get the one from Superdrug, like the own brand. I don't go for like the, what's that brand called? I don't know, the really well-known one. I can't even think of it right now. I don't go for that one. I just go for like the own brand, like, or Sainsbury's own brand intimate wash, whatever it may be. I just go for that, and I have not looked back since. Love it. So please, would recommend that you switch over as well if you don't already. Next question, razor bumps, how to get rid of them. I spoke about this earlier, so but it's not a tried and tested method. It's just something I've seen, and it kind of makes sense that it would work. So obviously when you're shaving, you are essentially opening up the skin, and you know, it's very easy to get little cuts, all of that kind of stuff, right? And it's obviously going to get a little bit irritated, especially if you shave upwards on like the pubic bone, right? So firstly, number one, shave down to avoid getting as many bumps, and then maybe using the Germaline gel, put a little layer of that on it. Apparently that really helps, because it's almost like locking out any of the bacteria. It's going to mean that it's not going to get as inflamed, etc, etc. So I would recommend that. And if you try it, let me know how it is. Comment on whatever platform you're using this, message me as well, and we can spread the joy that it works, or maybe not. So let me know. Next question, should I shave full stop? So I'm assuming this means the entirety of your body, you know, wherever you like to shave, armpits, legs, pubic region, face maybe. Honestly, this is completely your decision. This is not my decision. This is not your other half's decision. This is not your mum's decision. This is not your sibling's decision. This is your decision. If you want to shave, girl or boy, you go shave. If you don't want to, absolutely don't do it. Don't do it. If you only want to shave certain parts of your body, go the fuck ahead. You, as long as you are happy and you are confident and you are just feeling more yourself with how you present yourself, whether that be shaven or not shaven or half shaven, I don't care, then that is the best version of you that can show up to whatever event or just, you know, hanging out with your friends, whatever it may be. Because it's going to mean that you're more comfortable and at peace with yourself with how you've shown up, and you're showing up as your true authentic self, you know. So yeah, please never ask that question to anyone but yourself. You know, do I want to shave? Should I shave? I don't know, you know, maybe experiment. But yeah, do not ever let anyone else dictate whether or not you shave or don't shave, okay? Oh, next one, how to get into playing with yourself. So I'm assuming this is meaning, you know, female masturbation. And I know quite a lot of people or females I've spoken to aren't really that comfortable, let's say, with kind of touching themselves with their fingers, right? And I completely get that, especially when you're not really used to being that sexual with yourself. It can be very overwhelming. So what I would recommend, honestly, to start out with is getting a little bullet vibrator. They're quite literally like, they're about that big. And they pack a little bit of power, usually battery operated, and they're just very easy, and you can kind of move them around, see what feels good. And what I would always say, if you're someone that maybe isn't comfortable or hasn't done it very much, is just make sure you're by yourself. You're in an environment where you feel relaxed. If you need a little bit of visual stimulation, put something you like on, and just relax into it, have fun, you know, explore. I also want to remind you all that the point of sex and masturbation, we're not always thinking about the end goal of the lovely explosion that happens at the end. That doesn't always have to happen, and that should not be the main reason why you are having sex or why you are, you know, self-pleasuring, okay? It should be just a time to maybe connect with another person, or just connect with yourself. And if you get to that point at the end, bloody go ride that wave, honey. But that is not the be all and end all of having sex / masturbating, okay? Just remember that, because if we always think about the end goal, as in get into the fireworks, it can almost put too much pressure on it, and you know, you could be unintentionally pressurizing yourself, getting annoyed because you're thinking, oh, I'm not getting to this point yet. But you just gotta sit back, relax, ride the wave, and have fun, okay? Right, so another one, going on a first date with a guy I've never met. Oh, any advice? Yes, I've done this quite a lot. So I feel like I'm fairly clued up with what to do to try and make sure that that person isn't someone that you don't want to meet, you know, or is trying to say they're someone else that they're not. So what I would always recommend is, obviously, firstly, safety first, meet in a public place, make sure that you feel safe, you've told a couple of friends. Apologies, it sounds like there's an earthquake, but I don't think there is. Yes, so make sure you've told people that they know the location, where you're going, what his name is, or what they've told you their name is. I have had a couple of guys that have not told me the right name, but we won't go into that, okay? So yeah, just make sure that a couple of people, or at least one person, knows the details, what's happening, maybe even got you on location so they know where you are, all of that kind of stuff, right? But what you should do before you even go on this date is you should set up a FaceTime or like a WhatsApp call where you can see them face to face, you can talk to them, they can kind of get to know you a little bit more. And also what I do is send voice notes too, because I feel like I can really get to the bottom of how people are via how they talk via voice notes, and you know, what kind of language they use, how they talk to me, you know. And especially with FaceTime as well, you can't really hide on FaceTime. So I think it's always a really good idea just to scope out the guy on FaceTime. And honestly, every guy that is worth going on a date with will agree to going on a FaceTime call before meeting up, because they should understand that, you know, this can actually be quite a potentially risky situation for a lot of people, you know, meeting up with a stranger, etc, etc, not really knowing too much about them. So any person that has just an ounce of respect for you will be like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And obviously if they're excited to see you, they're going to be like, absolutely, I want to see your face, you know, virtually before I see you in person. And so that's what I would always do. And I would always make sure that you maybe have a plan of action as to how the date's gonna end, and just make sure you're being safe, okay? Just please make sure you are safe. Someone knows where you are at all times. However the date ends, I don't mind, but just make sure you're safe. That is the number one thing. I'm always gonna say to you, make yourself safe, okay? Right, last one. Oh, and this is a juicy one. So this person have said, I've never ... with my boyfriend, what should I do? And to put that bluntly, it sounds like this person has never had an orgasm with their boyfriend, and they're being like, what should I do? So obviously without any background information on this, it's a little bit hard for me to answer, but I'm gonna kind of answer it the best that I can. So firstly, if we were, you know, if I was in front of you right now, I'd ask you if you had ever tried masturbating by yourself / made your own self reach fireworks. And if the answer to that is no, then I would say, okay, that's fine, but we need to get you a little bullet vibrator, and just, you need to get a little bit more comfortable with yourself, because if you have never made yourself orgasm, it's almost like, how can you expect someone else to know how to make you orgasm, you know? And that might be a little bit difficult for some of you to hear, but you've got to know what you like and know what your body wants from someone else, and then you just got to guide them, communicate with them. I think a lot of people are a little bit scared to communicate during sex, and you really shouldn't be, because if you're not communicating during sex, then I don't know, how are you knowing that the other person's liking what you're doing, vice versa? You know, you want to make it as enjoyable for both parties as you can, right? So yeah, if you have not made yourself orgasm, then that's what you need to work on. That is your first step, because then when you know what to do, you can then teach them what to do, you know? And then it's just a learning process from there, okay? If you, however, have made yourself orgasm without him, then that is where, you know what you did. So you now need to coach them into doing that to you as well. And yeah, the first couple of times they do it, you might not fully get there, because you might not be completely comfortable with almost letting go of everything and just allowing them to just rock your world, you know. It can be something that is quite difficult for a lot of people, especially if you're maybe not mentally in a good place as well. That can obviously contribute towards it too. But yeah, you just got to communicate with them. You got to teach them what you like, and if they're not willing to learn, move on, move the hell on, because who wants to be with someone for the rest of their lives potentially where they are not willing to learn what you like and understand how to make you feel really good when you're doing that to them, you know? So yeah, that's what I would do. So you basically need to do it first, learn what you like, and then you coach them. You coach your partner or sexual partner into whatever you like. You keep going, you get a little bit more comfortable with each other, and then eventually you'll get to the land of fireworks, and it's very fun there. Would recommend. But anyway, that is the last of my questions for this week. If you did enjoy this this episode, let me know, drop me a message, comment, like, subscribe, review me, please. So thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and follow me on Instagram @BethQFitness. If you're interested in finding out more about the Body Confidence Coaching Program, then you need to drop me a little message on Instagram at BethQFitness, or if you've got any questions about anything I've spoken about, or you've just kind of, there's a question bouncing on your mind and you want it answered, drop me a message at BethQFitness. So, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.